Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast. Now, although the world can feel quite polarised this year, and it often feels quite difficult to understand what is happening in the world right now, but have no fear. Together, we're going to explore these uncharted digital waters and learn a thing or two along the way. So, at the moment, everyone is talking about the speed of technological change, but what is alignment? Why is it so important? And why do so many digital initiatives fail? And what do leaders need to do to better lead digital products and services? These are a few topics that keep me awake at night, but thankfully, Emerge Interactive founder, CEO, and author of a new book called Alignment, Jonathon Hensley, is coming on the podcast to talk all about that and much more. And he is a Silicon Valley native, and as Jonathon was forged in the ever-evolving fires of developing technology, and he was someone that was fueled by curiosity of what lay behind the doors that those constant innovations could unlock. And in doing so, he learned how technology transforms the way people both live and work, which is my kind of language. And for over 20 years, Jonathon has helped companies from startups to Fortune 100 brands transform their businesses by strategically using new technologies to improve their digital products and services. But enough from me. Buckle up and hold on tight so I can beam your ears all the way to Portland, Oregon, so we can speak with Jonathon now. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me, Neil. It's wonderful to be on the show. And for listeners, to a little bit about myself, I own a company called Emerge Interactive, where we focus on helping companies develop and improve their digital products and services. So that might be anything from a website to the latest mobile app, or looking at how they can support their employees by building better workflows and leveraging technology to improve the operations of the company.
Well, I always say at the beginning of most of the episodes on this show is that I try and explore how technology is transforming our lives, our work, and an indeed world. And my understanding is at Emerge Interactive, you're working with clients to transform business strategies, user needs, and new technologies into valuable products and experiences. Do you have any examples or possibly success stories that you could share that would just enable listeners to understand how you're leveraging technology to solve real problems or even make a difference?
Absolutely. So I think one of the great things about Emerge that we've done is we came in 20 years ago really trying to be a holistic end-to-end product company where we could support our clients, whether it be through, as you said, through strategy or designing that product or helping build that. And so it allows us to work on some really interesting products, and we have a really kind of total life cycle perspective on how to help our clients with those things. And so today, one of the examples that I think is incredibly relevant is in healthcare. So we do a lot of work in multiple sectors. Tech sector is one of our biggest markets where we do a lot with technology companies, but healthcare is another one of those. And within healthcare, one of the really big issues that we're helping clients address right now is improving the patient experience through technology. And so one of our clients is a children's hospital. And so if you can imagine, as if you have a young child who is sick, it's very difficult to take care of them, take time off of work, get them in the car, drive to that hospital, go through the appointments and potential treatment. And you're doing this, if you're at a children's hospital, probably multiple times to help them through their illness. And so technology has this incredible power right now, especially with mobile, to transform that experience to make it much, much easier. So what we're helping the children's hospital do is create a unified patient experience where through the app, they get notifications, they can find parking on site. In this case, the hospital has valet services. So, and then adding wayfinding so that they can navigate directly to the physician and the department that they're working with, access amenities on site, for example, childcare services. If the child who's getting treatment has siblings, maybe there's other services available for extended stay of family and loved ones. So we're really leveraging technology to not just enhance the patient experience in that case, but also it's streamlining the operations of the hospital so that the caregivers can actually provide better care by spending more time with patients and less time on the administration side.
And it has been an incredibly turbulent year, to say the least, but it has also, in many ways, acted as a digital accelerant. So it's moved at a speed that I've never seen before, to be honest. But I'm curious, have you seen an increase in businesses needing help with a digital product transformation this year? Because in many ways, 9 months ago, that was all seen as a nice to have. But this year, things have changed dramatically, haven't they?
They sure have. I think that what we're seeing for the most part is that most organizations are now realizing that their digital transformation and their productization, whether it's the website is now the front door of the business and is actually part of the product and service delivery instead of just brochureware, it takes on a whole new perspective. And so these nice to things are becoming mission critical, and we're seeing that across the board. Where we're seeing certain types of businesses are accelerating their investment, others are still, unfortunately, really dealing and having to triage the situation that's happened with COVID, as well as understanding, the implications of what has happened with the global economy. So right now, we're seeing kind of this need across the spectrum to plan and to get ahead and start to really understand where can we focus our resources to make the biggest impact and create the biggest value exchange between customers and the business. And then others who are already a little bit further down the road, who were able to adapt, are looking at already what's the next generation of that product as they go into a new year.
And like you said, it has reached mission critical for so many businesses. But I think for another problem, of course, is that the many leaders out there are just stuck with the old way of doing things that delivered success in that old world. But now it's not working, and they don't possess the skills to digitally upgrade or know what to do next. And one of the reasons I invited you on the podcast today was because you've got an upcoming book that is aimed at helping develop the crucial skills leaders need as they have to embrace digital transformation and then set the stage for business recovery. But can you expand on that for me and what listeners can expect from that book?
Absolutely. So the book is titled Alignment, Overcoming Internal Sabotage and Product Failure. And what inspired the book and the need for this was that statistically, anywhere between 72% to 84% of all digital transformation and product initiatives fail or underperform. And that's a staggering failure rate. So what we really wanted to explore in writing this book was talking to leaders all over the world who are succeeding and have succeeded for decades in developing digital products and helping organizations transform. So we talked to CEOs and product leaders and frontline product teams like designers and engineers and product managers to really understand what was missing in the conversation and what was kind of the unique element that the highest performing companies that were succeeding the most what were they embodying? What were they doing differently? And it came down to alignment. And leaders in that space had a very specific set of skills that were really shown through in comparison to what else we were seeing in the marketplace. So a couple of examples of that would be when we look at the leadership skills, those organizations that are successfully making this transformation, there's a couple of critical things. One is these leaders are trilingual. And what I mean by that is that they have a business acumen, an understanding of design thinking, and a really strong understanding of technology. So they're able to look and diagnose at problems more effectively and then solve them leveraging technology because they understand how these things work together and the steps it takes to successfully navigate that process. Another critical skill that we saw across top performing leaders was really this fundamental thing that is of understanding the difference between planning versus strategy, and realizing through our research and these interviews with dozens and dozens of leaders around the world, we found that strategy was misunderstood dramatically. And when we did more research into the market, we realized how deeply rooted that challenge really is, and that planning many times is being confused as strategy, where you're setting goals and putting together schedules, and where organizations are looking for certainty. And there is no certainty in a plan if it's not grounded with a good strategy. And so these digital transformation and product initiatives really require great strategy. And so the leaders that are thriving understand those differences and are able to apply the skills necessary to do the really hard work of developing good strategy. The third one, and there's many, but the third that I think is also really important to highlight is this issue of empathy. We saw that the most successful leaders were incredibly empathetic. They led as servant leaders. They were really there to coach and empower their teams to solve the problems. And their job was to hold on to the vision and make sure that there was a well thought through, systematic approach to these initiatives that was grounded and aligned to the bigger strategy of the business and aligned with the vision and values of the company as well. And so that ability was really a cornerstone of success, because they were able to understand customers' needs more effectively. They were more focused on outcomes instead of deliverables, and really able to move these initiatives forward successfully.
And what inspired you to write the book, and who were you writing it for?
So I was originally inspired about the idea after having a conversation with a couple of colleagues in Silicon Valley around the gap between leadership and these product teams that were working so hard to, put out great products and services. And so that idea of like, well, this seems kind of obvious to me, I'm going to go do some research. And that research spun out very quickly into this much, much bigger topic, and became a 2-year project, passion project, to really understand how could we help people succeed. And then once we started to really understand the stats of how much failure is happening, we decided we need to become students of failure. We need to go deeper than anybody has gone in the topic, so we can really help people succeed and really give back to helping people mature as they develop these capabilities in their company.
The question I have to ask is, what is alignment? Because I'm sure if we were to ask 15, 20 people, we may get different definitions there. So from your point of view, what is alignment and why is it so important?
So I think that's a great question. And I think what we did is I really broke down alignment into 4 areas. And the 4 areas basically unfold like this. The first layer of alignment is individual alignment. And what that means is helping your team, your individual team members, understand how their work, their contribution matters, why they're doing it and how it makes a difference, and what the impact is of that work. That is really essential to empowering and engaging employees to bring their very best problem-solving skills to the table and leverage technology in the most powerful ways. The second part is team alignment, which deals with how we build alignment with others and integrate our unique disciplines, experience, and perspective to solve problems as a group, and how we identify new opportunities and define a clear path forward to achieve a goal. The third level of alignment is organizational alignment, which really deals with how do we align everything that we're doing that reflects the organization's larger vision and strategic priorities, and what does that need to encompass. And the fourth is market alignment, which deals with market fit and understanding your customer, your end user, their need, really understanding deeply the problem that you're solving, the impact of that problem that has on your customers, and the hurdles you face in addressing or solving that problem in a unique and sustainable way. So those 4 levels of alignment come together. And when they're at all 4 levels, you find alignment, you find incredibly high performance, impactful teams that are delivering incredible products and services.
And before COVID, if I dare to look before COVID, I did see a lot of businesses treating digital transformation efforts as a destination where they tick a few things off a box and then leave it alone. Of course, I think digital transformation is always a journey rather than a destination. But I'm curious, why do you think so many digital initiatives fail?
Well, if you just look out there and go online, you're going to hear mostly that the number one issue is either they don't understand their customer or there's a lack of market fit if it's externally facing, or there was some sort of unknown issue internally. And I think what happens most often when we really get under the surface and we look at the root causes of failure, most of it is honestly internal sabotage. And it's not intentional by any means. The people doing this work are incredibly smart, wonderful people, from my experiences. But there's some issues or challenges around managing really complex projects like this. And so a couple of those things are like, how do you manage expectations of digital transformation? And so optimism can be confused as a promise, as an example of that. Or how do you manage transformation based when you have a really complex or large scale organization? Or how do you address issues of siloed knowledge if you have an organization that's worked a certain way for a long time and they're literally trying to innovate and change the way that they work and operate? These things are really difficult. And if they're not part of the conversation at the forefront, you have incredible hurdles to overcome down the road in the process. And that's why we really spent so much time in the book also talking about strategy and why it's so important, because good strategy really helps you look at these things at the forefront of your process so you can be set up for the long-term initiative that it's going to take, because many of these projects are 6 months to sometimes years that it will take. And it's a tremendous lift for any organization at any size.
So for any leaders out there that are listening to us today, what is it they need to know about leading digital products and services? Because I think there's a lot of people finding and feeling their way around for the first time. But to help save them making any mistakes, what kind of lessons have you learned and what kind of advice could you pass down?
Well, I think that one of the most important things is, if you're going to be leading an initiative for the first time, learn about what are the steps that drive success. There's a lot of just bad information out there right now about quick wins or ways to get ahead. And I think that, if that could generate great results again and again, that would be the way everybody did it. The reality is the companies and the people that are doing this work and doing it really well, they understand what those steps are. They understand it's really hard work. There is no, quick outs there. And learning those steps so you can apply them in your business and with your project is incredibly empowering, both for you as a leader and for your teams. So I would say that is number one. 2 is make sure you have a great strategy for your product and service. It's absolutely paramount. And there's a lot of bad strategy out there. So, doing that hard work becomes really, really important. And don't fall into the trap of some of the things that are out there. I think, especially being a Silicon Valley guy, there used to be this big mantra. Everybody just said, fail fast, fail often. And when those kinds of things are misunderstood, they're incredibly dangerous. Fail fast and fail often is about focusing on experimentation, taking the smallest thing that you can do to create the best possible insight so you can move incrementally forward. But often it's taken as a recipe for risk. And that risk is not necessary. And when you're moving very, very fast, those bigger risks and putting those blinders on, unintentional or not, are very, very dangerous. So look at those things and challenge them as you go forward. And I think that you will be set up for much greater success.
Excellent advice. And I've got to ask, when is the book out? What's the official title, and what's next for both you and Emerge Interactive moving forward as we start thinking about life in 2021?
The book will be available for pre-sale in December, and then it will be available for purchase in January of next year. So we wanted to get through the end of this year before we didn't want the book to fall victim to the noise of everything going on in the world. It seemed like we needed to pick the right time. And so it will be available, and there'll also be a bunch of resources available coming with the book to help leaders start to adopt these things very quickly. So we're going to be giving all those away for free. What's next for myself and for Emerge is really going forward. We feel that our work in supporting clients who are going through this digital productization to create better customer experiences, to modernize the way that they work, is just never been more important. So we are hyper-focused on coming in and helping our clients deliver these products quickly, and also to support them if they have a product that's underperforming or they haven't been able to get to market. Be able to quickly help them diagnose that so we can help them get on track. We want to see as many people be able to make this transition successfully as possible.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. I will be checking out your book as soon as it is released in January. But before I do let you go, what is the best way of finding you online, or even contacting a member of your team if they've got any questions about anything we talked about today, or want to find out more about Emerge Interactive?
Yeah, so the best way to get in touch is to go to emergeinteractive.com. There you can schedule with us a free consultation if you're interested in exploring developing a product, or you have an existing product that you're looking to improve. And we're always happy to have those conversations and talk about what the possibilities are. On the website, we also have an insight section, which has a ton of wonderful resources, no matter whether you have a technology background or a business background or design background, to support you in your product development and your work. So we're turning out great hands-on materials for people that are going live almost every week. And then also a great way to stay connected is to find me on LinkedIn and follow the content and the information that we're sharing from all over the world.
Well, it has been a year of significant change. And like I was saying earlier, it has acted as a digital accelerant. But I've loved listening to you today, especially learning how companies are learning to focus their moving parts on closing the gap between vision and reality, and improve their product and improve their project and product launches. But thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and share your story and how you're helping companies too. So hopefully we'll speak again next year. But thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Neil.
What an incredibly cool guy Jonathon is there. And I love how he's been helping businesses improve that operational agility and customer experience for many years. And even before it was considered to be one of the most important metrics of any digital product. It's easy to see how he has worked successfully with so many tech leaders, health networks, non-profit organisations, and so many more. And cannot thank him enough for taking the time to share his insights with us today. And I am genuinely looking forward to getting my hands on that book. But as I said at the beginning of this podcast, there are many definitions for exactly what alignment is out there. So let me throw the microphone over to you. What does alignment mean to you or your business? And why is it so important? As always, I like to keep the conversation going after we finish recording, so please email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com. My website is techblogwriter.co.uk, where you'll find over 1,400 other interviews, and also links to 2 other podcasts I host, which is Tech Fusion by Citrix and Switched On Thinking by Netgear. But I don't want to wear my vocal cords out yet, so I'm going to rest them for the evening, have a nice cold drink, and I'll return again tomorrow with another great guest. So thanks for listening, and until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.